Everywhere we go, come on! We're massive. Everywhere we go, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go, West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go. West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hammers Fans United on this momentous occasion. Obviously, tomorrow, West Ham are in a European final. So, once again, we're going to do a match preview. I will bring each guest in one at a time, which I think is showing them more respect in no particular order. But as this person is not a West Ham fan, I'll bring him in first, and that is Stuart from the disabled team, Leeds United. How you doing, Stu?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I hear you've got a big game coming up tomorrow night.
A massive game. Right. Let me bring in the godfather of this channel, Mr. Wally Toe. How you doing, Wally?
I'm doing good. Just seeing that video makes me, brings the whole thing to me, and I'm all excited now.
Good. And thanks as always. I know, it's Wally's. Actually, let me bring these two on, and then I'll ask you the duration of this occasion for you. Right. Let's bring him in. Harry Geezer with his special hat on.
Yeah, mate. I've got a big hat, big day. Big hat, big day. It has to happen. So only comes out once a year, or once every 43 years, or whatever it is. So here it is. Yeah.
You're the governor of the channel, governor and godfather, the two G's, the OGs. Not saying you're old, but OGs.
There you are.
And we'll bring in the next guest, who is 1/3 of the second biggest West Ham channel. Legend, that is. I think we all know who we're talking about. Mr. Charlie Walsh, aka C-Dub. How you doing?
I'm good. I've been going through my computer this week, Titch, deleting old videos and stuff just to make space because I've got a lot of projects on the go and my computer's been slow, right? And I found that clip of you that you edited, the Mr. No Waste one. When was it? When I came on
Zero Waste.
Zero Waste, that was it.
Yeah.
I found that like 2 days ago and it just caught me laughing. So you'll be pleased to know I've got my mug, I've got my spoon, and I would expect that to take place throughout the show.
See? Memories. Good people as well. You lot, obviously, everybody here, good people. We are waiting. Abel, like I said, this little superstar. Can I just say this, yeah? Don't you think it's a bit funny that the biggest West Ham sensation, aside from the players, as a fan, he's actually part of this little channel? That's crazy, isn't it? This guy's hit I think 20 mil views across all the social media. So yeah, it's a bit ironic that this little channel here, that little boy is part of this channel, and he's going crazy. He's done it. His mum said, "Watch out for when we play tomorrow. The BT advert. He's done. He's part of the advert for the match, the build up tomorrow. Wow. He's been asked to go on Talk Sport with Ali McCoist and what's that? Laura Woods, is it?
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, nice. He's making moves. And apparently Copper 90, I don't know anything about it, but apparently, they're showing interest as well, but I don't know about Copper 90, but Charlie probably does.
Yeah, the boy's definitely got a face for television, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he really is.
Can I ask you, as a ignorant American, is there some special thing about this airport this way, Prague that way? Is that like a meme or something?
He's made that into a phrase.
It is from him.
Yeah, and his mum said that they've made T-shirts and everything. Wow. So he's getting noticed and
that's
recognized
original.
Everywhere.
There's no back story to that or anything. That's like an original thing from him.
Yeah,
wow.
That's his thing. Yeah,
brilliant. Wow.
Yeah.
So he's obviously got something.
Yeah,
about him. Yeah.
he's got his own catchphrase already, little kid. I've been trying to do that for years, right?
Wow.
Years. But I
That's
keep using the word bollocks somewhere and it doesn't get picked up.
Yeah, they won't put it on a
I
t-shirt.
don't know what's going wrong.
But yeah, it's he will be joining us. Like I said, he's busy at the minute, probably in the streets of Prague having a beer or two and getting mobbed.
Great. Yeah, that's a memory. You know, I mean, what a memory for life he's getting there, man. Amongst all them West Ham fans and just enjoying the moment.
Yep.
I presume he hasn't got a ticket for the game, but
No, they have.
just
No, they've got a ticket. They've got good seats apparently. Yeah, him and his mum have. He's their connections through his newfound fame. They got.
Oh right.
It wasn't
There
bad.
you go.
Yeah.
That's how bend it is at West Ham. You can still get tickets like that. That's good for him, mate. Now what a memory he's gonna have there, mate. Fantastic.
His mum drove. She said 12 hours from Calais. I think she said. It was all like sort of last minute, and yeah. So they got the tickets. Someone said, "Boom, got your tickets.
Wow.
Let's go." So
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
right,
I'm happy for him. I am. I'm really happy for him.
Right, let me just quickly. There's not a lot of comments. Big up, Roberto Singleton. I hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. As always, one of the loyal Hammers Fans United. He says, good evening, Stu, Wally, Kieran, Charlie. Big up, Inky. Good evening, Titch, Stuart, Wally, Geezer, and Charlie. Thanks, as always, Inky, for tuning in. Robert's got the question marks. What's that for? Hi, Robert. What was the question, Rob? Right. Let me just ask. I'll ask Wally first. Wally, what are you feeling? Obviously the game is 22 hours away. What's your overriding feeling right now?
I'm amazingly calm right now. So, but seeing that video with Abel and everybody singing there in Prague, and how they started out, and then more and more people like joined in. It's like there must be like West Ham supporters wandering around all over the place. So that got me really excited now. But I'm still not nervous. So, hey.
So, and Wally, you supported West Ham for how many years now, or roughly how many years?
Well, it goes back to 1970, when I picked West Ham because they had just won the World Cup 4 years previously, and I had moved to London, and everybody said you had to pick a team, and all the other kids were going for the big teams, but I heard that they won in '66, so I'm like, that's my team.
And that was from 1970.
1970, yeah. Wow. How about that?
That's a long time. So yeah,
it's been hard to, I haven't followed them closely until the last, say, 8 years when they started showing the matches on TV here, Saturday mornings. But whenever I got the chance over the years, I'd always look, if I had a paper or something, I'd look and see, West Ham are in 15th. Oh, they're in the second division or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So, do you recall when we won the FA Cup in 1980?
Not really. No, I don't.
No.
But I think in '75, I think I was watching that match probably on the telly in England. So because I was still in England at that time.
All right. Sorry. See me. My thing is I always just go back to 1980. But all right, '75. So you've actually seen West Ham win a final.
Yes, I want to say I do. I don't specifically remember it,
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I must have been watching.
Yeah.
But like I said, yes, I was watching on the telly.
Okay. Right, Kieran, what about you? What was the last final? Did you go to any of the FA Cup finals?
Yeah, the 1980 FA Cup final I went to, yeah. I don't know why I didn't go to 75 one, because I was 14 then, and that's when I was starting going all over the country watching West Ham. So I must have been able to get a ticket. But I didn't get to the final against Fulham. And Alan Taylor scored the 2 goals to win that. But yeah, I went to the 80 final, and I went to the semi-final replay that was at Ellen Road, funny enough, Stu. At Ellen Road, where we beat Everton. And Frank Lampard Sr. scored the that fantastic header in extra time to get us through. The most emotional game I've ever been to in my life. And the final, the build up, especially the FA Cup back then, the final build up went on for weeks. It seemed to go on for weeks, and on the day, it's just all day. If you're ever watching it on telly back home back then, it was massive all day long, the build up to it. So I had build up to it. So I was 18 then, was just trying to get to Wembley, you know, and find someone to plot up. And the old Wembley where it was all standing, you know, you're crammed in 100,000. We're big underdogs then. We're in the second division. Arsenal in the first. I think they had a European Cup final coming up. So, it was, you know, we were the big underdogs. It was all against us. And the excitement was unbelievable, you know, unbelievable. Fantastic day out. You never forget it, you know, never.
Did you have any feeling that we could beat Arsenal in that final?
Yeah. In that year, that team we had, we believed we could beat anyone. We really did. West Ham, even supporters, you know, it weren't false either. You know, it weren't just because it's West Ham. We did believe we could beat anyone. We had such a good side then, you know, such a good side. It was great to watch. You know, we'd brought in Ray Stewart, big old psycho up top, and Alan Devonshire and Brooking, mate. You know, they've gone on to be absolute icon players for West Ham, haven't they? Brooking and Devonshire, they were just mint. They weren't second division players. These guys were top of the first division players. And so we always believed we could win it. Billy Bonds, you know, you've got to believe we're a team like that. And we did. We thought we could do it. We knew it was tough. And like any cup final, it can be decided on one little moment. And it was. And of all people, Trevor Brooking to score a header, he wouldn't have scripted that. That was never going to happen. But it did. So, yeah, great day out, mate. And the celebration then the next day, I went up with my mother up to East Ham Town Hall down the Barking Road. I think they said there were 250,000 people out on the streets for them to come back in the bus. And it's typical West Ham. They couldn't even get a proper open top bus to bring them down the thing. They just had, you know, the windows at the top, and they were all climbing out of the windows, sort of sitting on top of the bus. You know, but yeah, fantastic, mate. It was brilliant.
All right, I've got a question for you, Kieran, and this might be an obvious one. Is West Ham the last team to that ain't in the top flight to win the FA Cup?
Oh, I don't know. You know, I think Mr. Walsh, he's the man who.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll Google it because I don't know why.
Yeah, because I didn't know whether that's an obvious yes, we were, but I don't even know. But I'll just wait. And my other question to you, Kieran, is this, right? Obviously, West Ham won in 75, we won in 80. We went for a period of obviously winning trophies and you could never have fathomed that it would take this long, right? The feeling that you got when we beat Arsenal, do you think all these years later, all the way in Australia, and you can't get to the game, do you think you will still get the same feeling that you understand? I
don't think it's never the same as what being at that game. There is a difference, but the excitement you'll feel going to it, building up to it, is the same. You still want to win, and the anxiety and the nerves are the same, aren't they? Especially with West Ham. You know, we were very fortunate at that period because not only did we get to that final against Arsenal at Wembley, you know, a trip to Wembley for fans was very rare. You've got to remember that then. That was the pinnacle for fans, was going to Wembley for a day out, you know, and that was my first time, apart from watching England, that was my first time at West Ham at Wembley. But then we had the Charity Shield, so we were back at Wembley again not long after that. And 1981, we got to the League Cup final against Liverpool, which I went. You know, the next season. So we had 3 trips to Wembley as a fan base, you know, in 12 months. You know, fantastic, or 15 months, whatever it was. We were just living the dream at the time. You know, we were going to Wembley every 6 months or so. So we loved it. We were having a great time. You know, and the feeling of walking up to Wembley, going into Wembley then was really special.
It's been a long time. Charlie, did you get an answer to that question?
We are, yeah. Eight teams have done it, and we were the last ones to do it.
I thought so, but I wasn't. Right, let me get to Charlie. Let me just. So Robert, I
Just
saw it.
pick the kettle on, boys.
Big up Lee Stephen. Main man is in the house. I hope you're well, Lee. Hi, Lee. Lee, my man. Hi, Inky. Boom. Joe Della Mura, thank you for tuning in. Good luck for tomorrow, lads. Come on, your irons. Robert said, I dropped off for a minute. Dropped out, sorry, didn't know if me or you. Did you see the bloke that saw Noble in the streets of Prague? Is it on camera?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I had a quick look. A mate of mine sent it to me. He's running. This guy's running down one of the streets of Prague with a big can of beer in his hand, and he's talking to Noble. Noble's doing a run. He just run up beside him with a beer and I'm like, right, how you going, Mr. Noble? Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, quite funny.
Big up Freshfielder. Well, what have we got here? Well, what have we here? I hope you're well, Freshie, man.
Yeah, it's all right.
We have a massive get together. That's what we got. And thanks for tuning in. Charlie, you know, you lot. What the fuck is that?
Oh, no.
What the hell is that? And it's this. Right. Obviously, you lot are in the know. You lot do the videos. You know what's going on behind the scenes. All of that, yeah? Unlike me. I just whatever. What's the feeling at... I would say you, Gio, Gonzo, like... Yeah, what's your feeling going into this final?
I think it's just a lot of excitement about it. I think it's obvious that there's a lot of excitement, but the nerves haven't fully, like for me personally, the nerves didn't start hitting until today. And I think when I was speaking to Gio about it yesterday on one of our Patreon shows, and he was talking about being nervous, but I think there's just this overwhelming sense of like, this is happening. Not even like, because obviously, you know, so I was speaking to someone who's a Man United fan about the FA Cup final before they played that. And he was talking about being nervous and excited and all that sort of stuff. But there is just sort of this collective disbelief right now that we've actually made it this far. And it's actually happening. Like tomorrow we are watching us in a European final. And especially after this season, but just in general, that's just such an insane statement to make, right? And I was watching, I had it on in the background earlier. I had Sky Sports on in the background, and they've got a person at Prague who's outside the stadium talking about West Ham team news and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, it's like legitimately happening. We are not only in a final, we're in a European final against Fiorentina. And I think there's just the collective disbelief, just like, wow, okay, right, what is happening then? And obviously we have like the fan part going on tomorrow. We have a bunch of other things going on. So there's a lot to get done, but yeah, it's just, I mean, I didn't get nervous until earlier today. Earlier on today, I was speaking to my girlfriend about it, and I said to her, I was like, now the nerves have hit me. Like they hadn't before, but now they're starting to rattle a little bit. And she said, I can't understand getting nervous on like behalf of someone else.
Yeah.
And I said, well, and her family are Arsenal fans, and so I was like, well, you know, the last time we got to a European final was 40-something years ago. And she went, oh. I'm like, yeah. O is right. O is correct. That is a thing that's happening.
When was the last European final? I thought it was longer than that.
No, it's before that.
Was it 40?
43 since we won the FA Cup. So we had that cup final against, was it Anderlecht that we lost?
65? No, when was that?
Oh, yeah, the
40-odd one is one that we won.
Yeah.
It was at 65. But we lost that one in the mid. What was that? I forget what years it was. What was the one we lost against Anderlecht, Charlie? The Cup Winners' Cup.
That would have been.
Well, it must have been.
You have 60.
Yeah, I'm saying that's more than 40-something years ago.
Yeah, it's longer.
No, there's one in the 70s we lost.
Let me have a look. It's a long time ago, but once I said like how long it's been,
yeah.
Then there was like right, that's why. And I think now I'm just excited for it. I genuinely, I sort of didn't fully. There you go. Thank you, Stu. Thank you.
When was it?
The 5th of the 5th, 1976.
Oh.
Yeah, after we beat Fulham.
Between the FA Cups. Yeah, it was in between the FA Cups, wasn't it? That makes more sense, yeah. But I didn't fully appreciate the FA Cup final in 2006 at the time. because I was too young. My brain just didn't grasp onto it. And I remember my dad that day, like a friend of mine came and knocked for me. I went, "Do you want to go play football?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine, but I'll go play football." And this was about 10, 15 minutes before the game kicked off. And I remember my dad going to me, "You're going to miss this, and they don't come around often for us." And I was like, "Yeah, nah, don't worry about it. It's fine." And then I didn't come in and see that we were 2-0 up, because I heard the cheers coming from my house. And I was like, "Hang on, I have to go see what this is." And we were 2-0 up. So I didn't really fully take it in. I only saw us capitulate in 2006. So to just sit and fully absorb a final for us, yes, huge.
Yeah, that was 2006 is the only final of West Ham that I've actually witnessed. So, and that was heartbreaking. Robert says, "I was there, Kieran. Remember singing Billy Bonds to come up. He is the shy man off the pitch."
Yeah.
So he was at the 80s final as well.
Yeah, good, Robert. There's not many of us left. We'll all be dying off soon. There'll be no one who's seen that final soon.
Listen, Robert and Freshie, as is such a special occasion, if you don't want to come on, you don't have to be on camera, and you want to just have your voice and all of that, because like we've just said, it doesn't happen very often. So yeah, if you do, just say put the link in the chat and I'll do that. I still remember Lampard effing up for Anderlecht's first goal in 1976.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, 76 Lampard. He'd had an injury, Lampard, and they had to take him off in the end. But he slipped up with the ball. They took it off him and scored. It was gutting, really, because we thought we'd win that as well. You know, we thought we'd win that, but it didn't happen. That was a shame. It was a good final.
Right, I'm going to go to our Leeds contingent. No, not contingent, just he's by himself. Anyway, our Leeds representative, and ask you, what is your thoughts on the game tomorrow from a Leeds? From a neutral perspective, almost.
From a neutral perspective, a European final and an English team representing it, I think it's going to be huge for every fan. It should be huge for every fan, whether you're Man City, whether you're Chelsea, no, not Chelsea. Let's not go like that. No, you know what I mean. It's a big thing. It's a massive thing. If any Englishman tells you that they don't want West Ham to win this final, they're lying to you, because everybody wants British success in Europe. Don't matter which team it's with, whether it's West Ham or West Brom. It doesn't matter. To me, it's massive for you. It really is, and I'm feeling as nervous as you are. Believe it or not, I really am. It's I'm fond of West Ham, so I want West Ham to do well. I really do.
Yeah. I was saying to Kieran, I heard Rants, which is obviously Expression's brother, with Lee Gunner, I believe, and they was really hoping that West Ham win. They was also saying, if West Ham do win, they've had a more successful season than Arsenal, and that was coming from a Gooner. And I actually believe that. I think, it's funny. The fine margins are this. We are the worst placed London team in the Premier League. But if we win this, we are the most successful London team this season, because, second doesn't mean anything. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah,
if you only bill it as only trophies count. Yeah. There's an argument to say Brighton's had a better season than us. And, and relatively they have, for them. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when all these big teams, all they talk about is what they've got on the shelf, isn't it? Yeah. Success is measured by trophies. So if we win it, and we're talking about their criteria here, these so-called top 6 or top 7 now, they judge it by trophies on board. Exactly. And if that's the case, we will have a more successful season than Arsenal. But we've had a terrible season in the Premier League. Be honest, that's the truth of it. We've just had a great cup run. Yeah. And it would be lovely, because there's only 3 teams in the Premier League this year that can win a trophy. And it's only Man United, Man City, and West Ham. That's the only 3 teams out of 20 that's going to get a trophy on the board. And there might only be 2 if we don't do it. So it's a difficult thing to win a trophy in the Premier League. It really is. So there's not many teams that win every year. So hopefully we are the third.
Right. Let me get this few comments. I want West Ham to win. Nice one, Inky. Freshfielder, didn't it turn out he pulled a muscle in his stomach or something? Talking about Lampard.
Yeah.
It did. Off
Yeah, sorry about
at
that.
half time. Right. I painted a narrative probably about a month or 6 weeks ago. And I said that, if David Moyes pulls this off and, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and, you've got some new young West Ham fans and they're watching the biopic or they're watching whatever. The narrative could be, he sacrificed the league. He gave it all in there, and just to bring European or a trophy back to West Ham, and it paints a different picture to what we're actually living now. Is the Premier League was dreadful, it was dire. We almost got relegated. But do you agree that if somebody sees this in 20 years' time, if we do win it, you could easily paint a different narrative as to why we had a bad Premier League season?
I think realistically, right? If I'm being honest, I think the outcome of the final dictates everything in terms of how we'll see it in 5 years' time. It doesn't really matter about anyone else as well. I feel like how the season has gone in the Premier League matters to us in the short term. But if we win a trophy, then if we win this, then I don't think it matters to us in the long term. Because I think in 3, 4, 5 years' time, when we look back on this season, sure, we might say the caveat, we were awful in the league. That was awful. But actually what we'll be talking about is, do you remember when Mikel Antonio scored the winner in the final? Do you remember when we actually won a European trophy and all these things? Like, the form and the performances of the season matter to us in the short term. They matter to us this summer. And we'll probably talk about it potentially the summer after that if David Moyes stays and then there's a contract negotiations and all that sort of nonsense, right? But realistically, actually, in 5 years' time, if we win, that's all anyone's going to really talk about and remember. And I think what that says to the outside is what it is. But I think that's realistically what's going to happen. And so it should. Like we were saying, these situations don't come along often enough. We don't talk about, when we got to the FA Cup final in 2006, obviously we were much better in the league that year, but we don't tend to talk about the league that much. We talk about the FA Cup final in 2006. These things, that's what they tend to dominate. And it should, because it's a one-off occasion. It's the biggest occasion you can get to. And so I think realistically, yes, like I'm sure on June 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, all the way through till next season, we'll probably be waxing lyrical about this season and what happened during the league and all of these things and the ins and outs of players' performances and all that stuff. But actually, June 8th, 2025, 2026, 2027, if we win, we're only ever talking about the final. And good, we should. It's not another final we can just talk about and ignore everything else. So what we do as West Ham fans, we just talk about the finals. That's all we need to talk about. We don't need to talk about the rest. No, other stuff's not important. Not interested. Let's just talk about the finals, whether it's us or England. Let's just talk about those. Everything else,
Yeah, so just to back that point up, Charlie, we should have got promoted that year in 80. And we didn't. And to be honest, I can't remember anything about that season. I went all over the country watching West Ham, and I can't remember nothing. So I didn't care about the league there. Yeah. Winning the FA Cup was more important than getting promoted. It really was then. And, we didn't. I can't even remember where we finished that year in the league. But we were probably the best side in it and never got promoted. And we probably did sacrifice the league to try and win that FA Cup. And we did it. So, yeah, it didn't matter. And it doesn't matter. It's all about putting that trophy on the board. People won't remember how bad this season's been if you can win it. The trouble is, if you don't win it, people will remember both. Yeah. That's the problem. Yeah.
All right. I've got a question for everybody in here, everybody in the chat. Let me just address. Thanks, it. All right. No worries, Robert. If West Ham win, they would be the most successful team in England because City are cheats and Scum are scum. 13, drawn 1, lost none. First team in Europa Conference to win all 6 group games. Yep.
That's right.
And even in harmony, I thought I'd better come on and wish your tiny club good luck. Right. Now, this is to everybody, and I'll go around. We'll start with Stu, Wally, Charlie, Kieran. I'll leave Kieran to last. If West Ham win this European final, does David Moyes go down as a West Ham legend? And I will ask Stuart first. Then we go. What? We just go around.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Right.
get into that, Stu.
And everybody in the chat.
Choose
Does he
your
go
words
down as a-
carefully, Stuart. Come on.
If he wins the trophy, he has to go down as a West Ham legend, doesn't he? He has to. Whether that's begrudgingly saying he has to, but he has to if he wins his trophy. Like we've all said, you aren't going to talk about what he did during the season. You're going to talk about him winning what he did in his final, winning his trophy, winning his final. You aren't going to discuss what how Newcastle beat you 5-0 and stuff like that in this league. You're not going to discuss any of that. You're going to discuss West Ham won silverware in Prague with David Moyes. He's got to go down as a club legend. Yeah, he has to.
Okay, Walito, does he become a club legend if we can win tomorrow?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. You know, he if we win tomorrow, we will have had like a 6th place finish, a 7th place finish, and then a European Cup. And, you know, for West Ham, that's legendary status. We are going to, if he wins tomorrow, and it's going to be a defensive, painful battle, I'm sure, if we win, we are going to be fondly remembering 10 years from now the way our defense just clamped down. And Fresh has it right. We're undefeated in Europe. So we're going to have fond memories if we win tomorrow in 10 years, I guarantee.
Yep. All right. C-Dub, does David Moyes go down as a West Ham legend if we can pull it off tomorrow?
I mean, he probably has to, right? It's weird because we often talk about legends at West Ham, and it's difficult because outside of like Greenwood and Lyle, there's not really many people who can talk about winning trophies at West Ham at all. There's not really many we can talk about, and so when we talk about legends, we tend to have conversations about, you know, people like, I don't know, Paolo Di Canio and people like that who other clubs might be cult heroes, but for us they're legends because we don't do trophies that often. He'd probably go down as a legend, yes. A fondly remembered legend, I don't know. I don't know. I think the people who lived through it might feel would begrudgingly give him his flowers and then move off into the distance and going, but we can move on with our lives. But you've got to. I don't think he'll become a club ambassador anytime soon, though. I will say that. I don't suspect he'll be doing the after dinner talking circuits at the club or anything.
So that's 3 yeses. Giza, does David Moyes go down as a West Ham legend if we can win?
No, legend. That's a word that's thrown about too easy these days, legend. It'd be a legendary cup win if he wins it. And all right, let's throw the question the other way. If we don't win it, does that mean he's not a legend? So are we going to base him being a legend on 90 minutes of football? That's crazy, isn't it? Lyle and Greenwood had to do years and years and years of having a philosophy at West Ham to produce a team, and it didn't always work. I don't get it wrong here. It was bad at times, real bad. But it did get a philosophy of football that we all believed in, why we call them legendary managers now, and got a couple of cups on the way. I don't even class Mark Noble as a legend. I class him as a great servant at West Ham, and we were delighted to have him. But I don't regard him as a legendary player. I thought he was good, and that's about it. Some people will class him as a legend. I don't. So I don't throw out that word very easy. Is it a legendary cup win, which will be in West Ham's history forever? Yes. And when people look back at it, he'll be up there. His name will be mentioned with this cup win. But if he doesn't, all he's going to be remembered for is almost spending 200 million and almost getting us relegated. So, yeah, I wouldn't call him a legend, no. I'll be patting him on the back now. I'll be delighted for him. And I really will. I really will be delighted for him. You know, to actually get a trophy on his resume, first time in his career, I'd be delighted for him. I hope he does it. I've got nothing personal against Moyes. He's just not the manager. I'm even more pissed off because them tossers in North London have just took my boy. They've just took a Big Ange. Yeah. Big Ange is gone. All hope is lost. Jesus.
I think one of the things to say though is that absence does make the heart grow fonder. And I feel like in the short term, I don't think it would. I don't think anyone. I don't think that would happen. Like, I don't think there's people like myself and Kieran, for example, who don't like him very much, who would probably begrudgingly say good things about him, posthumously almost, but like whatever. But in reality, I think in 5, 6, 7 years' time, again, people will be talking about the good times and not the bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
yeah, as Wally said there, if you look just at on paper, a sixth finish, a seventh finish, a cup win. Yeah, man, you got to look back and go, shit, he done well. He done really, really well, and he has really, if you look at it that way. But for what we are, he's done really well. I think the added pressure of this season is why he sort of lost that bit of legacy is because of money, because of what was spent. And if you look back at what he has spent, and when we see this team come out tomorrow, what you'll find is most of that money is not even in that team. It'll only be, lucky if it's half of that money that he spends in that team. That's where I think he's fouled. That's all on his recruitment.
Well, before I get to the comments, everything Wally said, I agree with. I said when that World Cup kicked in, it's time for Moyes to go, and that was my thoughts. Then I thought, it's too late now. Let's see it out to the end of the season. But the fact that he's the first manager to get back-to-back European football for West Ham, the fact that when he came in, obviously we was in a precarious position, and that's why I talk about fine margins. I did say, listen, if we don't win it, we are, we're the worst London team in the Premier League. If we do, in my opinion, we become the best team. So, and I think that's how fine a line it is for him to be a legend. And I would have to say, and it's not even begrudgingly for me, right? I can't wait to see West Ham win a trophy. And it feels like it's never going to happen. So for me, he would have to go down as a legend. He would have to, because of the time that's elapsed that we haven't won anything. Do you understand? So regardless of his style, he's everything about him that we don't like. If this guy, and added to that, if we do win it, that's European football 3 seasons in a row, which other manager is going to do that? So I think based off of that, he has to fall into the legendary category, despite everything else that's sort of gone on. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
And I want to call David Moyes a legend because that obviously means that West Ham have won a trophy. So I want
to be him to be the first legend we sack straight away.
I have no problem with that either. No problem. I did say that, this would, for me, would be the fitting farewell is to win that, and then,
See, we missed an opportunity there. We could have cut out Tottenham. Could have won this cup, mate, and done a straight swap with Celtic. It was easy.
They would not want David Moyes, boy. They like Postecoglou's attractive football. They would not want David Moyes there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Right. Good evening, Ofcor. Wanted to jump on and wish West Ham good luck for tomorrow. I'll be backing you and Bowen. So Ofcor is a whole city. Yeah, it's whole city. Whole fan he's coming from the team.
But Bowen is representing, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's representing us.
Charlie, thanks for tuning in. Charlie, Harmony can't be tiny if you're in a European final. They are all my friends. I know it's a wind up. Yeah, she's a wind up merchant. Win or lose, I would give him a 10-year contract, and that's another wind up merchant. Fresh said, whether you're Moyes in or Moyes out, the answer has to be yes. At times, turgid this season, but 6th, 7th, semi. Oh yeah, the semi-final as well. This trophy and a couple of good domestic cup runs. No other logical answer.
Yeah. See, when you write it down like that, Sean, yeah, it looks so good, doesn't it? But we've had to live through it, We had to live through the games and all that. Oh God, some of the die of football. But when you write it down like that and you look at that, yeah. I don't like using the word legend, but my God, you'd have to give him a big pat on the back for doing it. He's done really well.
Kieran would be the Roy Keane of this channel. He just, no praise, limited praise.
Yeah.
Hope you're getting better. Bandy, thanks for tuning in. Trevor Booking, Frank Lampard, Pop Robson, Clyde Best, Pat Holland, Billy Bond, and that is how I saw it. This Bandy's Leeds. Is he Leeds?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is Leeds. Yeah. So he remembers these players from that final, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot of good players there. A lot of good players there, man.
Right, let me go back to this. All right. Let's say Man City, Pep Guardiola, if he was to pick one of those players to put in his current team, which one of those players would fit into Pep Guardiola's Man City's team this season?
Trevor Brooking.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd say Trevor Brooking.
That'd be my answer as well. Without knowing as much as some of the more learned individuals here, I would have said Brooklyn as well.
Okay.
Trevor
right.
Brooking, it'd be like a Bernardo Silva of City. Just quality.
But I would assume, because, you know, was Brooking stronger than... He looked bigger than Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
Was he
Not
physically...
big. Yeah, he was over 6 foot.
Yeah.
He glided. He weren't particularly fast, which was amazing. It was just his footwork, and he just walked away from players. He was sort of 2 steps ahead of everyone when the ball came to him. You know, he weren't particularly fast, but he just glided past players and puts in great, through balls, inch perfect balls, everything. Still scored goals. He was a fantastic midfielder, just silky on a pitch that was, a bag of shit.
Yeah. So if you're saying Bernardo Silva, and like I said, I know physically, he's probably more suited to the Premier League as well because of his physicality, as well as the silkiness. Yeah. So he would easily get in this Man City team then.
Well, you never know these days.
Frank Lampard Senior, Frank Lampard Junior. Who were the better player? Because I didn't see Frank Lampard Senior.
I think because of the difference of positions, Stu, like Frank Lampard was a cracking left back with a fucking bullet of a left foot, but he weren't a midfielder. He played in there now and again, but he was a solid old school left back, and he was great at it. I think Frank Lampard Jr. was a lot more to him with being a midfielder who could score goals. So his boy was a better example, I think.
Of course, says Moyes has to be a legend. Any form of success means they have a place in your club's history. We've got Phil Brown and Steve Bruce as legends as a result. Not if, when. So Robert is confident we can win it, big man. I think we can win. I think we win the conference in spite of Moyes. Barbecue. Freshie says you're having a barbecue tonight, Wally. Oh yeah, sorry. So Wally, I asked you off camera, but I didn't get the. This is tomorrow or today is your anniversary, yeah?
That's right. Yeah.
Is that your wedding anniversary or when you first got with your wife?
It's a wedding.
Or when you divorced her.
Yeah. So how many years will it be married?
Well, I got the calculator out because I anticipated that. But yeah, it's been 37. It'll be 37 years.
37 years married.
Hell.
Yeah.
Wally. Well, boy, mate. Now that's a legend. See, there's a legendary status.
Yes.
He needs to be a legend for doing that. Putting up with a woman 37 years. That's amazing.
And how long have you been together?
Maybe
get the calculator out.
3 years before that. So
about 40 years.
Yeah, 40 years. Yeah.
That's like 2 life sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get.
Have you been to Europe with her?
Oh yeah.
There you go. Look, so you've been on a couple of European tours.
Exactly. Yeah.
Legend.
That's what keeps us together, Couple of tours.
That's big respect. Big.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Walt.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Wow. Right. Did you answer that question? Barbecue tonight? Did you? No, sorry.
Barbecue. No, we're going out to with the family. My kids and couple of my daughter's husband too. We're going to be going out to a nice steakhouse, so going to be eating some good beef.
Are you going to get them to sing West Ham are massive in that steakhouse?
Yeah, maybe, sure, yeah.
Get a video and send it to me.
Nobody really knows what West Ham is. In fact, I was at the gym the other day. I'm a rock. I sort of do some rock climbing, so I belong to a rock gym. And I was wearing my West Ham hat there, and a guy comes up to me and he says, "Is that a real team? Is West Ham a real team?" Because he had only heard of West Ham being on that
Green Street.
No, the latest show, Ted Lasso. I guess there's West Ham,
Yeah.
involved in that Ted Lasso. So he didn't even know it was a real team. He just thought it was like part of the show.
Did you punch him in his face when he said that to you?
No, I did explain to him. I educated him. So yeah, it's pretty funny. So that's how massive West Ham is here in this country.
Oh, right. See, look, Freshie has corrected me. Greenwood got back-to-back European campaigns for West Ham. 65, we won it. 66, semi.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, so on that note, maybe Titch, I should get going.
Yes, Wally, I really appreciate you giving up your time, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. And I hope the next time we see each other, we are European champions.
I hope so. It'll cap my 37th anniversary off if we get a win tomorrow. Wow.
Wouldn't it just? Wouldn't it?
All right.
But
So take care.
Wally, much appreciated.
All the best, Wally.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bro. Congrats.
See you later. Right, so that was, I stand corrected. So yeah, Moyes definitely would go as a legend then, because then he would be 3 times in a row if we can. Right, so Freshie says Brooklyn for Man City in this current Pep Guardiola Man City. Inky says Brooklyn. Bandy says Pop Robson.
I don't think Pop Robson's replacing Haaland.
So he's a striker, obviously, Pop Robson, yeah.
But good striker. Geordie boy. He came down. I think he had 2 stints with us, mate. We had him for a while, sold him, and then brought him back. But a good little striker, real nugget.
Right. Freshie says Brooklyn by a mile and Bonds for Rodri.
Yeah. Bonds could fill in for Rodri there, mate. But trouble is with Billy Bonds now, he'd be sent off every other week. So be a bit different.
I don't know. Rodri's got an unnecessary foul on him, doesn't he? So,
Yeah.
Right. Freshie said happy anniversary, Wally. Sorry. Should have read that out when he was still here. Truly remarkable, Wally. Congratulations. And I should have read that out. Wish my team was on Ted Lasso. What is Ted Lasso? I've heard of it.
I've never watched it. I keep hearing about it, Ted Lasso. What is it, Charlie?
It's a comedy.
He's a manager.
Yeah.
Comedy.
It's a comedy about an American football manager who becomes a soccer manager, essentially. A manager in the Premier League.
Oh, that's why you look
not unlike Jesse March. Yeah, that was why the comparison was always there.
Yeah, I've heard that's I think people call him Ted Lasso, and I just didn't know who or what that was.
Yeah, a bunch of it's filmed. There's a bunch of scenes inside the London Stadium and stuff. There's like a whole.
Is it a movie or a series or
series? It's been a couple series now. Yeah.
On what? What channel?
It's on Sky here. I can't remember if it's on. I don't know what stream. I don't think it's on any streaming services at the moment. I think it's on Now TV.
Is it on Amazon? Amazon Prime of it, I think.
I don't know. I can have a look, but I don't know. I don't. In my head, it's on Now TV, but I might be wrong.
Right. Brooklyn had to have a bloke to help him extend his stride. Right, Kieran.
Yeah, mate.
What does this mean? Robert says Brooklyn had to have a bloke to help him extend his stride.
It's on Apple TV.
I know. He had this way of when the ball was coming to him, he used to feint to go to it and just roll the player and walk away from him. The tighter people were to him, the easier it was for him. He just was so good at it. And like I say, how his timing with the ball on them pitches, because they were just disgraceful, the pitches he was on. But he just had this knack of gliding past players and, without being particularly fast. It weren't about speed. It was just the way he moved, his movement, and he was brilliant. He was so good.
I think I've asked you this before, and this goes to the chat, which it seems to be a resounding yes from the chat. Was Trevor Brooking acknowledged for his abilities, across all of the teams in England?
Yeah, it's hard to know. Well, he was a regular in the England team. They used to team up there with Kevin Keegan. Kevin Keegan used to score quite some goals from him. Yeah, I think he was. He never moved, though. I don't know. No, I couldn't tell you, remember whether there was any big moves in for him or he refused them. But I say he was a one-club player. And that, to me, that's your legendary status,
Sorry, guys,
Speaking
for
of-
being late.
Speaking of legends, look who's just turned up. The
Hi,
West
Abel.
Ham-
I'm sorry, guys. You
That's all right. Don't worry.
I'm sorry, guys, for being late. I met the singer Chesney Hawks. I
Yeah.
interviewed the singer I met the singer Chesney Hawks. I was busy filming with him. And like there was like massive crowds and all that, so it took a long time for us to get through. And like the buses and that.
Don't worry.
All right, Mum.
Trying to sort this out.
How's Mum?
We're in a hotel in Prague. One second.
Hey, do you want to explain, Mum?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Billy,
Yeah.
Kieran said, "How are you?" I don't think they can
I'm
hear.
sort this out. Sorry.
Oh, she ain't got the headphones in.
Hold on. I might have to stand up to talk to you.
Ask her again when she puts them in.
Can you hear
Kieran.
me?
All right, now how's your drive? All right.
Oh my goodness. 12 hours. And then obviously we had to 12 hours and we had to like obviously stop in between. Hi everyone. So we've literally
All right,
just
bye.
got back to the hotel room in Prague. And he's been busy filming. It's so funny. We went into a shop to get an umbrella because it was pouring down with rain. And when we went in the shop, the Asian guy in there, this Chinese guy, shoved Chesney Hawks out the way and said to Abel, "Can I have a picture with you?"
Oh wow.
So funny. So funny. Chesney Hawks obviously took it in good thing and was laughing. The guy like shoved him out the way and was like, "You're the boy from TikTok. Can I have a picture with you?"
Wow.
And he was all like that. I got the picture, so I'll send it over.
That's crazy.
And then Chesney Hawks, he interviewed Chesney Hawks for Hammers fans. So he's done that with his son, Indiana. And he said that apparently he's playing over the river in Prague, the other side of the river from the square. Invited us over there tomorrow. He's doing some fan zone or something like that. And then trying to get back was a nightmare. I lost battery on my phone, like the worst thing ever for me. So out of my depth because I drive everywhere. And I was like, no, let's try the metro. We never do that. Like, worst mistake of my life. Got lost and managed to kidnap a girl off the bus who walked us back to our hotel, the poor girl, and I could just give her a big hug. And I said, "Thank you." Didn't know what else to say. I don't speak Czech tonight. So now Abel is going to jump back on and speak to you. I hope that you might need to get a cushion just to put on this chair. I think it'll be all right now. But anyway.
All right. Still, have a good weekend. Oh no, yeah.
I would say in German, Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
I don't know Czech.
All the best.
All the best.
See you later.
Thank you. I'll
See
give
ya.
it back to you now. That's okay. All right.
Right, let's just get through this. Moyes first to qualify twice via league position, though. Yeah, that's what I think is actually very funny. Once they're able, let me just read his comments and then we'll get to you. Apple TV. Ted Lasso. Oh, sorry, that's what he means. Ted Lasso's funny.
Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso.
Oh, have you seen it yet?
I cried when the show finished. I love Ted Lasso.
She must have thought you're a catch.
You might
Wally.
be in season 3, Mal. You might be in season 3, Abel.
Yeah. Just watch that Brooklyn goal against.
Ted Lasso is better than David Moyes, easily.
Right,
Ted Lasso's quality.
I'm gonna watch those goals, Freshie. I will watch them. Abel, get to bed. I'm calling the police. It's gone 7 p.m. She's gonna grass on you. Everybody respected Brooklyn. He was a little slow, but exceptionally skillful and a true gentleman. That's from Bandy.
Very true.
Right,
But
Abel.
guys,
Yeah.
when
We
I
can
tell
only-
you that atmosphere is mad.
That's what I was gonna ask you just now. Can we see your face a bit though, mate? Do you wanna like?
Okay, is
Can't
that
go.
better?
Yeah. What's the atmosphere like in the streets of Prague?
Oh, that atmosphere is absolutely electric.
I bet it is.
I'd say we brought about 50,000 over easily.
Wow. Are we outnumbering the Italians?
Pardon?
Are we outnumbering the Italians?
I mean, I haven't really seen that much of like their. I haven't seen that much of their fans. Like, I don't know like where they are, but like I've seen where
Yeah.
we are, and like we've easily got like 50,000 at least.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
Is it all-
they placed them on a different part of the city. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
From
they
what I
do.
saw, yeah.
Because I saw when you sent me that video earlier, I saw a Fiorentina guy walk by and was filming you lot singing. Did you see him?
What was he filming us?
Yeah, but he had a Fiorentina kit on. But, yeah, so he was there
I didn't
amongst the
see
West
it.
Ham fans. So what have you done today? Like, no, sorry, actually, tell these lot about the BT advert thing. Tell us what happened there.
So after I done that interview, BT got in contact with me and they said, "Do you want to be the advert for the promo for the final?" And I said yes. So we went to go and film it in my local park, and I said like captures like Ben Rama, no drama, Paquetta, no one better, and then
Hey,
stuff like that, and like who puts egg on pizza?
Oh,
mate, he's got bars. He's got bars.
Charlie, as a food connoisseur, egg on pizza?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't do it myself, but well, you know, if someone puts it in front of me, I'll shove it in my face. Yeah, I'll do that, but I wouldn't do it myself.
So, Abel,
No,
is-
it's
is-
gonna be on the beginning of the match.
how
Like,
many
before the match.
how many takes did you have to do for your advert?
I'd say only about 4, 5.
Is that
at
that
least.
it? How long were they
Yeah.
filming you? How long were they there for?
I'd say about 2 hours, an hour.
Yeah.
So, what's going on with Copa 90?
I got Copper 90. I
Yeah.
done this thing called Game of Fives with them.
Yeah.
So I had to be outside the London Stadium. But you know what? It felt really weird because like there were no fans or anything. It was just like the Copper 90 guy, and just me and my mum. So it felt kind of weird, but that was good.
Right.
was
What I'm a bit bemused about is, as your agent, none of these guys have been contacting me to get my permission. So where's
Yeah.
checking my phone? My phone works. Like none of them. BT haven't phoned me and said, "Oh, can we have your client?" So what's going on?
Oh, and TalkSport got in contact.
TalkSport as well. Let me put them to my list of for my claim.
Yeah,
my lawyers.
TalkSport. I might be filming with TalkSport tomorrow because they're in Prague.
That's with McCoist and Laura Woods.
Yeah.
Would you be on
Yeah.
there?
Pardon?
Will you actually be on video?
Yeah, actually on video.
Not just a phone call. Like you will be on camera, yeah.
No, like be on camera. Yeah.
So are you enjoying this limelight?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Like I'm making memories, but I kind of like feel bad for like other West Ham fans like who couldn't get tickets because like I think it's pathetic because like the stadium only holds 20,000
Mm.
Yeah.
or even
Unfortunately.
18.
Never mind that. When you see Laura Woods, tell her I like her a lot.
Yeah, make sure you tell her. Harry Geezer, legend, West Ham legend. Make sure you tell her. That's the one mission.
She's lovely.
What's the funniest thing someone said to you since like they've recognized you and all of that?
You know, I don't actually know. That's a hard question.
Like people recognize you, obviously.
Yeah.
Has anybody asked for your photo or anything like that?
Yeah. I'd say in about a space of an hour, I've got asked 20 people have asked for my photo, at
And-
least. Like,
And you told them to get lost, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
told them,
Yeah, it gets annoying, doesn't it, Abel? It gets annoying after a while.
this is what you say. You say 50 quid. 50 quid minimum. That's what you say.
Yeah, milk it up, son.
Photo.
Yeah. No, but seriously, it's good, man. It's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
thing.
it is really
That's
good.
great, man. That's the experience of your life here, Abel. Huh? Hey, to get there, get to the final, having all
Can
this
I ask you guys
adulation.
something?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Do you think we're underestimating Florentina? Like,
I ain't. I'm not.
No, we're not. Not here. We're all doom and gloom here.
Yeah. See that atmosphere out in the streets where everyone's positive. We're the opposite.
I
I'm more
mean, does
pessimistic.
anybody have like any information on their fans? Like, are they like loud, or are they just
The
like
fans
quiet?
are out there. The fans are a bit loud, yeah.
Yeah, I think they've got passionate fans. And
They're not like
yeah,
ultras, though, are they?
a lot of teams have. They probably have got a small
Yeah.
minority of ultras, yeah. But they are. It's funny because one of the boys that we coach at football, he's Massimo. His name is. His dad's Italian. His mum's English. He was born here, and he basically says, "I'm Italian." And I keep winding up saying, "No, you're English, mate. You was born here. Your mum's is." No. He's a Fiorentina fan, so they
He's a
go and watch
Fiorentina
them
fan.
often. But yeah, if we lose to them, I wouldn't hear the last of it from him. So
Both teams have got two dangerous CDMs. You've got Sophie and Amrabat for Fiorentina, and then you've got Declan Rice for West Ham. Who do you think's going to win that battle?
that's a good question,
Mm.
Charlie. Oh, Kieran, or Stuart, even because you've seen Amrabat as well. Who's going to win that battle?
I think Rice. I think, Amrabat's even come out and admitted that Declan Rice is a quality player. He's come out and said it.
Has he said that? Yeah.
That's what Amrabat said about Rice. He said he's a quality player. So even he's worried about him.
Geezer, who wins that battle?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a key battle. He's a good player, that Amrabat. I just noticed him in the World Cup. Not I've watched him week in, week out, but I saw him and I went, wow, he looked, as Aged did, you know, in the World Cup. And at the moment, we've got Aged playing 8 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. He needs to be 8 out of 10. But yeah, it could be an interesting matchup. The boy that right winger that everyone's going on about, I've seen a little bit of him, and he's the boy that worries me. Gonzalez, is it on the right?
Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez,
He-
Nicholas Gonzalez. He's supposed to
Right,
be.
he
quite
looks dangerous, Abel. He looks a
Yeah.
threat, you know, and he's on our right side as well. And I presume we're going to start with Cresswell. So that'll be
I thought
interesting.
Kara, to be honest. I thought Kara right back.
No, you're talking about left back. That would be, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So Gonzalez will be coming down there, right, which is obviously our left. All right, Freshie says, "Seen you on the West Ham our massive video doing the rounds, mate." Talking about you, Abel.
Oh, what that?
Yeah.
We've all seen that, mate.
Robert says he remembers Brooklyn's last game up. I remember his last game at Upton Park. We stayed behind for what seemed like hours singing "Don't Go Trevor." Was you, Kieran? Was you still here then?
I can't remember whether I was there or not, to be honest. I'm not sure if I'd left for Australia by then or not. I think I'd already left.
There were a couple of Fiorentina fans filming on the way by. Yeah, I saw that. What retiring? Retiring? I remember. Harmony says, Bandy, a true gentleman. He's talking about Brooklyn, and he had amazing knowledge of the game. Well said. Talking about Trevor Brooklyn. Us punks change tourists £50 a pick in the 70s. Start at 500, Abel. We're actually saying £500 a picture. Amrabat was a machine in the World Cup. He was one of the stand-up players.
He was.
Big up, James Bond. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
James,
thanks for tuning in, James.
Good evening.
Evening, James, and good day, Harms. Right, Charlie, this is a bit like, I want you to pose. This is what we're going to do, right? This is so random, right? Charlie, I want you to, with all your journalistic skills, you act as an interviewer and you're interviewing Abel. Let's see if Abel's give him some harsh
particular questioning.
Just based off the game, where it can be won, lost, and all right. Yeah, let's interview Abel, this new rising star.
Then Abel, in your opinion, obviously it's going to be a tough match. Fiorentina, they've got good players all over the park. They deserve to be in this final as much as we do. What two players would you pick out from West Ham's perspective who have to be the most important players on the day?
I'd say Rice and Areola.
Oh, okay. Why Areola specifically?
Because the goalkeeper's the most important role in football, and if the goalkeeper isn't on top form, and he's on your team's going to concede. Mm-hmm. So I think Areola has to be on top form, putting good saves and stuff like that. And then I think Rice, because Amrabat in the middle, Rice, has good leadership skills. He always uplifts the team. So I think we need him to be on top because he has the most interceptions in the league. So we need him to keep making those interceptions and tackles like he's been doing all season. So,
are you worried a little bit about the idea that Fabianski? Most people would say Fabianski is better at saving penalties than Areola. People would say Areola's not very good at penalties. Fabianski's really good at it. Are you worried at all that if we do start Areola, like you say, would you be worried that if it went to penalties, potentially that could affect the game?
yeah, I'm a bit worried about that.
Would you sub him off?
Like,
if it came down to it, would you sub on Fabianski for Areola for penalties?
I would sub on Fabianski for Areola, and the reason and what justifies it is because can't remember against Blackburn this year in the FA Cup, we kept Areola on for the penalty shootout. We ended up losing 10-9. He didn't save one penalty at all. So it was almost like he kept diving away from the ball, like he has a phobia of it or something. Like,
fair. But what's everyone else's opinion on the goalkeeper situation? That's one of the. There's a couple of positions that I think are up for grabs. I think that's one of the main ones, right?
Yeah. We spoke about this, I think, on the last one, and I think Kieran made perfect sense saying that you can't tell Areola is the cup goalie. But if I was going to be ruthless, which I'm not a ruthless person, not like that. If I was going to be ruthless, I think I would bring in Fabianski, but that would be being really harsh and really ruthless if I'm saying listen. But yeah, what about you lot? What's your Stuart and Kieran? What's your opinion on the goalie?
Yeah, what to start the game or bringing him on for penalties?
Start the game.
I think yeah, look, if you were a ruthless manager, you'd look, well, which is my best goalkeeper in a final, and you'd pick him. But to stick with Areola all this time and then drop him for a final, man. If ever you wanted a boy to upset someone, that would be it, wouldn't it? You know, you might as well sell him real quick because he ain't going to be happy. But it would be a horrible thing for him. I think Areola deserves to be in that final. I think he would. So it's another question whether, you're getting 5 minutes before the end of extra time and you think, well, what's the best bet to save penalties? So, to me, Fabianski got a better record, so you might make that jump. That might not bother Areola so much.
Yeah.
Kieran is making sense though, because Areola's earned that. He's played cup goalkeeper all that for the season in Europe, so he's kind of earned to play in that, to maybe start in that final. So
yeah, sure. What would you do with the keepers?
Well, I've just been looking at the stats from the West Ham v Alkmaar and the Fiorentina and Basel. Fiorentina had 26 shots in that game against Basel to West Ham's 9. They had 11 on target, so they know where back at net is. Yep. They know that, you know what I mean. And I would stick with Areola. I think he's earned that right to. You've played him well from minute one of tournament. You've got to end with him. You have to end with him, but you have to hope like you don't go through to penalties, because then it's putting Moyes in a difficult position. Where if it goes to penalties, I'd change him. I'd change him for penalties, but I'd start him from minute one.
Charlie, what would you do in regards to the starting and then obviously if it came to penalties?
I would start Areola and I wouldn't sub him off either. I just because I feel like, for two reasons. I think in that scenario, I would rather sub on someone who's going to score. So, for example, if we didn't start Ben Rama, I would rather sub Ben Rama on because I think he's the best penalty taker we have, right? So I'd rather sub on someone who I'm confident is going to put the ball in the net in that scenario. But also, it's just such a harsh thing to do. And I think the times that stick out in my brain of a goalkeeper getting subbed on for penalties are the times it's gone wrong. And that worries me. I know that's probably not fair because there's probably 10 times more examples of it going right than there is going wrong. But the ones that stick out in my brain are the ones where it went wrong. So I would start Areola and I'll probably keep him on. But obviously, I say that, then we keep him on and he doesn't save any, like Abel just says, and my live chat is going to be very angry. My live chat is going to absolutely hate me. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. So, yeah.
The other thing is with Moyes, like, if he did bring him on for that, I mean, he put his head on the block, really, isn't he? He's damned if he does and damned if he don't.
Yeah.
And you know, it better come good, otherwise he's gonna face a lot of flack.
Yeah.
You know.
Can I ask all of you a question?
Yeah.
It goes down to penalties, and Florentina scored to win it. What's your reaction going to be to that? Like, what's next for Moyes? Like, what's your reaction going to be? Like, your emotions and
what, for Moyes or just?
Yeah, just in general. Just like, what are your reactions going to be
if we lose on penalties?
Yeah, what's your reactions going to be to that?
Well, I'll be doing a watch along, so.
Same. So it'll be thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah,
Don't
bye-bye.
forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.
Yeah. None of that. As soon as that penalty goes in, it'll be end the stream now. It's
end the stream.
Yeah, end the stream. It's a tough one. Because you would imagine if it got to penalties, it would have been a closely fought final. West Ham probably would have, you know, done well, played their part in that game, and then unfortunately someone else. Yeah, so you can't really. Until you're in that situation, I don't think you can answer that question.
The only way I've dealt with them before, like, is that you haven't lost a final, you haven't lost a game.
No.
All you've lost is a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
You know, you weren't good enough at a penalty shootout, and a penalty shootout, as you know, is a toss of a coin. It's a horrible way to lose. Many teams have, and it's a horrible pressure to put on players. And the guy that misses that penalty, I always feel bad for him, because I don't think any one individual in a team sport should have to be put in that situation where they cost somebody a trophy so it's a horrible way to do it. But like I said, we haven't lost a final if it goes to penalties. We just lost the penalty shootout. Still hurts.
I've got two questions. One of them I just thought. One of them is for Kieran, right? What happened back in the day when a European final was level after 90 minutes? Would that have to get replayed?
Yeah, I think it was replayed.
It would be golden goal, I thought.
No, it wouldn't be golden goal. Not like I'm talking about, like in the 60s and maybe early 70s. And how do they look? This has been organised from the start of the season. It's in Prague. How do they organise a replay for a final in a? You understand? In the Europe? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds impossible now, doesn't it? But I'm pretty sure it's replays. I mean, FA Cups are always replays, or League Cups. So I don't know. I'm guessing it was a replay because that's how it was done then.
All right. I just thought of this, right? And then you lot can tweak it. Actually, let me read the comments and I'll get back to that. Right. So it was about 84, I think. Brooklyn retiring. It was before the 85-86 season. When did you leave, Kieran?
No, I did. I was there then. I remember 87 I left.
Maybe
so
85.
Probably was there.
Yo, Lee. Let me ask you lot this before I forget. West Ham way would be to sub on Fabs in last minute of extra time, conceding injury time. It'd be disastrous. Trusting Areola. Kieran, it was 18th of the 5th, 84. We lost the game 1-0.
Right. And I don't remember it, Robert, but yeah, I was there at the time. I didn't leave till 87. So
a coin. Right. What do you lot think of this? Which I just thought of and tweak it. Imagine penalty shootouts was just your designated penalty taker. So let's say, for instance, West Ham, it was Ben Rama, if we selected him, v Gonzalez, and it was just them as a shootout. Do you think, and do you think that would be a better way?
What, just one penalty?
No, maybe like just one player taking it. Best out of 5, but only just 1v1. So the keepers don't change, do they? So the players, so it's just 1v1.
I mean, I haven't really seen Gonzalez take penalties. So
no, I'm just saying, whoever's their penalty taker, like, how would you think that would?
One penalty taker take all 5 penalties.
Yeah, so let's say, for instance,
someone missed. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, best out of 5, but it's only one taker.
Oh God.
Or if you want to tweak it, you might have your set 5, and it's only them. It rotates back, so you don't get the the ones that really don't want to take. Yeah, like, how would you lot change? All right, this is the question: how would you lot change the format of a penalty shootout? So the penalty shootout remains, but how would you maybe tweak it? What would you look? Yeah, let me start with you, Kieran. What would you do to change the penalty shootout format?
I'd just whoever's playing in claret and blue wins. I reckon they've been trying this for many years, and they can't find another way to finish it. I think in America they tried the run up thing, and done a bit of Hollywood with it. None of it works. Even penalties are a horrible way of finishing, but it's the only way, because in this day of the amount of games that teams are playing, you can't have replays anymore. It's just too much. It's too much to fit in. So it really is the only way to do it. I really couldn't think of a better way, but it's a horrible way.
Would you bring back golden goal?
But then the only thing with that is you could be
goal.
playing for another hour and there ain't no, and you got to remember everything comes into consideration, transport and the time that the lights have to go off and the social aspect of that. So they have to get the game done. So golden goal technically could go on and on and on.
Golden goal could go on for 3 hours. Like.
Yeah, but I'm here for it.
fans are getting their
Imagine
money for it,
watching
but
like Mikel Antonio just 3 hours running non-stop, just slowly up and down. You're like watching me
Mikel
running up and down a
Antonio
pitch
would have
2
a heart
minutes in.
seizure.
All right, I've got a new one. I just thought of this one. This would
He would
just
have
be.
a seizure, sweating all over the pitch.
Tell me what you think about this one, yeah? Gets the extra time's done, right? Finished. So now, at extra time, at the end of extra time, and then every 2 minutes after that, you have to remove a player from the field of play. What about that? More space, and then it's the fitness. So what about that? Would that work?
Well, it has been tried before in certain comps, isn't it? That
Has it?
I think even that 7-a-side thing that West Ham are at the moment, that happens.
I thought I had a new idea. I haven't been watching that.
No, they're doing it there. A 7-a-side, and every couple of minutes they bring a player off for that extra time bit.
I didn't know that. Okay, forget that. All right. I generally haven't been watching that. Could that work in the 11-a-side game?
I think it'd be a bit fast for myself.
They tried it. They tried it in the Wembley Cup, which was a YouTuber football competition. I appreciate, but that was 11-a-side at Wembley, and they did I can't remember what the time was, but every couple of minutes they took people off, and people that game got stretched.
Yeah.
When that happened, it got stretched.
But don't you think that would be a better conclusion than a penalty shootout? Because it's more strategic in regards to fitness, keep him up. It will look ridiculous because the pitch is so big.
Look. The game's run by TV companies, mate, and for them it's perfect. This finish, isn't it? It's dramatic. It's horrible. It's got all the emotion and tension involved, so it's perfect for TV.
I've got to be honest.
I reckon whoever's got the most corners wins. That's it.
All right.
We've had the most corners.
What about this one? What about after extra time? No more offsides.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
That'd be good. Yeah,
just everyone standing direct. Maxwell Cornet's ready for it. He's locked and loaded. He's ready to go.
Corner.
Jared Bowie.
Corner.
Standing
Stood there.
Standing there behind the goalkeeper.
Waving his hands. Boot it at
Yeah,
me. Boot it at me.
me.
No
Be an
more
interesting
VAR.
dynamic, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
No
it would.
offside.
No,
That would be good. That's better than penalties.
Let me see him. All right. Man United definitely won the 68 European Cup final in extra time.
Yeah, I was going to say, so in 73-4, I looked into it. Bayern Munich drew against Atletico Madrid 1-1 in the final of the European Cup, what was now Champions League, obviously. And they did a replay 2 days later in the same stadium with significantly less people in the ground, because obviously most people have got to go and stuff. And then the next time a draw happened was I think I looked, it was like 80 something, and that was extra time by that point existed, and penalties and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but in 73 they did do a replay.
Yeah, blindfold.
Because in 81, I went to Wembley to watch West Ham in 81 against Liverpool, and we got the draw. And then on Wednesday, I had to take back 3 days off work because we had to go to Villa Park for the replay. A nightmare. And Dalglish done us. He scored. Beat us 2-1, I think.
And yeah, I think that's why they have to get it done now, obviously on the day, because of the inconvenience and lack of preparation. Remember,
I think
Kepa.
the time was on lock too.
Yeah. I remember the Kepa one, and it made no difference, did it? And the worst thing is, Mendy.
Oh yeah.
Mendy had just come off the back of a penalty shootout against Egypt in, I believe, the World Cup qualifiers and the what's it?
AFCON. It was AFCON,
yeah.
I think.
He was prepared. And then Kepa came on and didn't save anything, and then missed his penalty as well.
Yeah, and he missed his penalty. And Mendy was actually playing good that game.
Yeah, that backfired.
It's like anything. If a manager, coming to the last couple of minutes, brings on players to take penalties, and no one would bat an eyelid, would they? They know, they're the penalty takers. They're good at it, and if they miss, they miss. But he's still making the right decision by bringing on the best penalty takers he's got.
Yeah.
But doing it with a goalkeeper, it's just got a little bit more onto it, isn't it? You judge a bit more.
Can I ask you something? What happened to Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper? What happened to Mendy?
He came up against West Ham, and
I think Masuaku's goal ended his whole career.
Yeah, West Ham, and then the other one where the other one got disallowed, and West Ham just sort of showed him up, and then that's what happened.
I was at that game,
Oh, was you there? When they tried golden goal before, it had the opposite effect of what they wanted. Both teams went ultra negative.
Sean's right with that. Yeah, everyone went defensive and spoilt it. It weren't what they wanted.
No, Robert's got a good suggestion here. Watch this. Remember, David Trezeguet, didn't he win the Euros or the World Cup with a golden goal?
Someone did.
It's Trezeguet, wasn't it? I'm sure it was. For France.
Maybe. What was that? France 98? No.
Yeah. Well, he won a tournament in with a golden goal. So that was
Did
dramatic.
the golden goal come in extra time then as well? It was in extra time, wasn't it?
I think it was in extra time. Yeah. Yes. Right, this is a good
one.
Guys,
I've got to go.
Abel, man, thanks for.
Yes, Abel.
I know you've been busy, man, and keep up the good work. And hopefully tomorrow we get some fan cams. It's all positive. West Ham win.
Yeah, we're going to send you over the stuff tomorrow too. So.
Yeah. Nice one, man. But get some sleep and
enjoy
prepare for tomorrow.
Yeah,
enjoy it, bro.
Enjoy the game, mate.
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
All the best, Abel.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.
This is a good one. Robert says each penalty should be taken from further away from the goal.
Yeah, I was like, what if we had to do like increasingly difficult shot styles? So like, the first one is a tap in, then the second one's like a penalty, then the third one's like a half volley, then you get a volley, then you get like a 35-yard screamer. You just keep going up and up and up until you get to like an NBA half court situation where you just have to try and kick it in from half an.
You know what? Right, look, watch this. Yeah, let's say you got your first. Right, let's tweak it. You get your 5 penalty takers, and that is it, right? They're the ones, right? And then if it goes back, it starts back from penalty taker number 1. 12 yards is obviously where they take from. 13 yards, 14, 15, 16. So you don't go no further back than 16 yards. If you score from 16 yards and both teams score, you go back to 12 yards with the same players. Would that not?
Mate, you'll be there all fucking Thursday night.
Because them ones that can't score from 12 yards.
We're getting ridiculous now. I'm going with this one. Right. Every player who takes up with a penalty has to use his other foot. Right? Just play. Right? If you're right-footed, you're hitting it with your left. If you're left-footed, you're hitting it with your right. There you go.
What about if at the beginning, before the penalties get taken, there's a raffle and they pull out 2 seat numbers, one for each side, and then that fan just has to come up and be the penalty taker. There you go. Who's the better club? That's what we're moving on to.
See that's like an American thing. Like they would
on TV. That's real Hollywood, isn't it? Yeah,
they do the raffle. So if it gets to that, and then they do the raffle live on the big screen. And boom. So he's down for this. Imagine that. Imagine it came down to the fans.
What about breakdance competition?
Top row, right? It'll take 10 minutes to get onto a bloody pitch. That could be very.
Yeah, especially somewhere like the London Stadium where it's like, oh, row 4052. Okay, well, we're going to be here for the next 5 hours. As he tried to make it on the way down.
Well, mate, if that fan misses that penalty, he ain't getting home alive.
Yeah, exactly.
What about if they have to take penalties, right? But the penalty spot is always the same, but how far they have to take the run up from gets increasingly further away. To the point where they start their run up from the other side of the pitch, but they have to go for it.
Yeah, you can't stop.
None of
You can't stop.
this
You
like
have to keep
walking
running.
on, just they got to go for it. Imagine like a Roberto Carlos stutter, but for like half. An hour.
Inky says, good night all. Good luck, West Ham, and safe travels to all the fans of both teams. Thanks, Inky.
See you,
Thanks for
Inky.
tuning in. Night, night,
Inky.
Inky. Look, Freshie says, Mendy got Masawaku'd.
He did.
Before. Oh, Juve. Was it Juve? I thought it was France, man.
All right,
I
Juventus.
thought it was, so that would be Champions League. I thought it was France in the World Cup. I didn't think they'd done golden goal in the Champions. I swear it was France.
Shawnee's got a very good memory, if I remember.
And me, mate. I reckon it was
right.
France in a.
Yeah,
I'm going to go.
I remember something about
I'm
it.
gonna
But
go Euros. I'm going to go France in the Euros.
2000.
What was
There
it?
you go. Euro 2000.
Told
2 years
you.
later, France were crowned European champions after defeating Italy 2-1 in the Euro 2000 final, courtesy of Trezeguet's golden goal in extra time.
Told
from a
you.
Robert
oh, well
Perez
done,
assist.
Mr. Titch.
Titch with knowledge.
Zidane did one as well, I think. Nah, he never scored a golden goal. Trezeguet's, I believe, was the only one of note, and then they just didn't. Yeah, they didn't try it again. I've alien running up and down my stomach with all this penalty shootout talk. Yeah, we're already getting nervous thinking about it. Shoot from the centre spot at an empty goal. Not allowed to score. Closest to the line wins.
Oh, like bowls. I like that. Like bowls. Let's get bowls going. Let's bun off the football. Just play a completely different sport. Badminton.
Or
Let's play volleyball.
The crossbar challenge.
crossbar.
Challenge.
Or from the halfway line, you shoot and it has to go in without touching the ground. Others it don't count. Ping it. You got to ping it. Yeah. Kieran, what was the name of the ITV football show in the early 80s? It was a skill-based thing. Ashton Gate hosted a lot of them. Harmony might know.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Early 80s, skill-based. Ashton Gate.
Yeah. My memory's not good enough for that.
Ashton Gate, is that Bristol City?
Ashton Gate, I think that's where the England team trained, wasn't it?
But whose
Was
home
it
ground
Ashton
is that?
Gate?
Bristol City.
I think it is Bristol. Is it not Bristol? I thought
Ashton
it was,
Gate. Well, that rings a bell now.
I thought it was Bristol as well.
I think so.
Yeah, it is Bristol, yeah.
Bristol City.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Bristol City and the Bristol Bears rugby team as well.
Bristol Bears.
No.
Right. You lot, seriously now. What's going to happen tomorrow? Come on, how's it all going to play out? Play by play. What's going to happen tomorrow? Please, give me some positivity.
Moyes is going to set up so defensively for the first 45 minutes. He won't want to concede a goal, so it'll be a rerun at our game.
Do you lot see the same as Outmark?
Look,
Yeah.
by all accounts, but Fiorentina suit West Ham, and they like to come hard, press high, and we like the counter attack. So both teams are probably suited to each other. I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried because I don't think we've played a team yet in this whole competition that we shouldn't have beaten. There's not one we shouldn't have beat. We should have beat them all, and we more or less did. And so it's gone to form for me. Now, this is the first team that we're playing that, it's a real team. This could be a Europa League final as well. They're two good sides. They've both got a lot of history, and they're an attacking side, this team. They've got quality on the pitch. So I think this is where it gets tough. This is the real competition. And I think we've got to be superb in that first half. And Moyes will do his usual. He will try and keep it to 0-0 to half time. And we'll try and hit them. And we'll try and hit them and nick one. A bit like Alkmaar. Try and get them on the break. It's a dangerous game, but it's probably the best game West Ham have got. with the team they've got and how they're going to set up, it's the best game we've got. So that team suits West Ham. So there's every chance we can nick a goal. But going behind early, it's either going to G us up or we're going to collapse with it. That worries me.
C-Dub, how's tomorrow's game going to play out?
Hold on to your backsides, people, because I'm about to make them start twitching. I think we've got this. I do. I think it's set up for us in a way. Not storyline wise. I think just the opposition are the right opposition. Fiorentina are a really good team, but the more I've learned about them over the past week, the more I've seen, oh wait, this is actually properly set. This is us. It's not quite on Lyon's level. Don't get me wrong. The Lyon match I remember last season was the one where I was like, this is the perfect opponent for West Ham. And then it came to pass. We absolutely smashed them 3-0 away, right? But they're the team with the highest line in Italy. They're the team who press the hardest in Italy. They try hem you in. They try to do all these things. And when I've heard Italian journalists have been asked, I've seen a couple of Italian journalists being asked the question, what's their weak points? And they've all got and they've all gone, well, there's been games where they push and they don't really know when to stop pushing, and then teams just boot it over the top of them and then they go through. Istanbul Beşiktaş is a great example of that earlier on in the tournament, where they got beaten in the group stage, I think 3-0. And that exact thing happened. They stepped out, they tried to push, they tried to press. Istanbul just booted it over the top of them, bang. And if there's one thing West Ham's good at, it's booting it over the top of people and just having a run on the counter-attack. It sounds exactly like what we would want them to do, and it sounds exactly what we would want to do. Which means for me, I'm not sitting here. I'm not complacent, because I think Fiorentina are a really good team. You only have to look at both the quarters and the semis, where in the first leg they've lost, and then in the second leg they've gone on to win quite significantly. That they have fought their way there, right? They're a good team. They're a good side. They play good football. They've got a lot of good players. It's not just Gonzalez or Amrabat. They've got Cabral up front, who's top goal scorer in the tournament so far. Both of the top two assist makers are both Fiorentina players. They want to have a go. They get a lot of shots. They want to pop off. But I just think it is set up for our style of football and the style of football we should play. If this was a league game, I might, flower it up and think, well, we could go attacking. Let's try to do something different. Let's try to do these cup final. You do what you do best. You do what gives you the best chance of winning. And thankfully for us, that's exactly what we're best at right now with this group of players, with this manager, and it suits them perfectly. So yeah. I'm feeling, I'm like, in terms of finals, it's always 50-50 and anything can happen. You can't sit here and say for definite anything. But certainly, if you ask me to put money on it right now, I would put money on it being ours.
All right, Charlie, what do you know about Vincenzo Italiano?
He's got the most Italian name in the world for a start. It's a beautiful, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Like you're like, who are we facing in the final? An Italian team. Who's their manager? Vincenzo Italiano. It sounds made up.
Hey.
It's like a pizzeria, isn't it? Pizzeria, whatever it is. Yeah. It's not a pizza parlor. What crazy. A name that is. Like,
they are, I've heard Italian football experts compare him to De Zerbi, and they feel that he is next off that sort of line of management. And yeah, so I don't know what you've learned about Italiano since it was turned out, because they've compared him and they believe that he is going to be the next big thing out of Italy, and compared him to De Zerbi.
I think.
What about you? What have you heard about him?
I think one of the things that's interesting about Italiano, apart from his unbelievable name, is his rise through the ranks, and we've seen it a couple of times, notably in Italy recently. Sarri was the last big one, who went all the way from nothing, non-league Italian football, all the way up to being in the Champions League, getting jobs in England and everything else. His is really interesting in that he took over at a fourth-tier side, got them promoted. He then took over at a third-tier side, got them promoted. He then took over at a second-tier side, got them promoted, and then he got the Fiorentina job, and now he's got them to 2 finals in the space of a year, where they obviously had the Coppa Italia final where they lost to Inter this season as well, and now this season. He's someone who's clearly worked his way all the way up, and despite the fact he has the most Italian name going, he doesn't play the Italian style of football that we all think about. He is an attacking guy. He does try to make it happen. He wants his teams to have possession, to press, to harry. He doesn't want to sit deep. But potentially, unlike De Zerbi, he's just not quite as flexible yet. De Zerbi is able to sort of mold and do things that he hasn't been able to yet, but he just might not have had that chance yet. It could go one or two ways, right? This is either a learning experience for Italiano, where you go, right, because I've heard quite a few journalists talking about how sometimes he needs to know where the off button is, and he needs to get a little bit of that. He needs to know when to go full Italian and to employ the dark arts. And he said a little bit of that in the pre-match press conferences. There was a quote that was going around where he was talking about. He basically said the words, "We're going to tactical foul West Ham." He was asked about it, and he basically went, "Yeah, no, we're just going to tactical foul. It's just going to happen." And Fiorentina fought back on that a little bit, but that's basically what he said. And there has been discussions on whether or not he knows when to stop that and to go more Italian and to shut up shop and to figure that out, because that's one of the big criticisms I've seen of him. So this final either goes two ways, I think, for him personally. It's either a massive learning experience and a massive learning curve where he goes, yeah, I need to figure out when to shut up shop, because there are times where I need to, or it's like De Zerbi, it's his coming out party, and he goes, look what I've just done. I've just turned him over. We're on to bigger and better things, and he keeps going forward. He seems like a good manager. Whether or not he takes the step up to the next level is now. You know?
I noticed that, a few years ago there when West Ham used to come to the London, or Man City used to come to London Stadium, and exactly what they do, they would pummel us. But every time we did do the counter-attack break, mate, we got hacked down. Yeah. They would just trip you up, kick you down, and eventually someone would get a yellow card, then someone else would do it. Yeah. They wouldn't let you get part, even when they were winning 3-0, 4-0. They'd still do that, and they were bloody good at it and are frustrating at it. But that's what good teams do, isn't it? They don't care what the scoreline is. They just make sure you don't get near their goal. He lacks that. Yeah. And quite frankly, everything I've read about him and seen about it, it's very much like Postecoglou. He's all out high press, attack, entertaining football, taking lots of shots at goal, and sometimes gets caught out. And I think he's been allowed to get away with it a bit more up in the Scottish League. And that'll be interesting to see Postecoglou at Tottenham. He'd have to be a little bit more savvy about when he's being attacked as well. But yeah, that's what I keep hearing about him, Charlie. Sometimes he's too full on and forgets about the defensive side of things. And hopefully that's the case. But if he learns how to do what Man City does, and that's just hack you down before you get anywhere, it could work for him.
Mm-hmm. Right, this is for all three of you, yeah? And we spoke about this on the disabled team, I think. Is it worrying that, you said, Charlie, this is where this could make or break him, or this could make him as a manager? Don't you think he's already got that experience three weeks ago when they lost to Inter in the final? So he's already tasted. Do you think he's gained something in regards to experience from? It was only about 3 weeks ago that they lost it in the 2-1. Do you think that could go in their favor or against them?
Anyone else want to go first?
Yeah, just they lost it in the Coppa Italia. Does that help them, or does it help West Ham? Or what scenario helps them and what helps us?
I think it probably helps them. I think having that recent cup final experience helps, right? Because it's not going to be like, for our players, it is a brand new experience, and even for people who have got to finals with their national teams or previous clubs. Like, this is like a brand new group and a brand new thing that's happened. Whereas for them, they've literally just had it. I don't know if the result either way would make too much of a difference, but just that calm of going right. Because ultimately, being an Italian team and losing to Inter this year is not a bad thing. No. Inter are a very, very good side at the moment, and are building something there and look like they're finally back to the Inter
And
I
they're in
remember when I
the
was
Champions
young.
League finalists, obviously, as well. Yeah, so there's
Exactly. But I do think having that recent experience probably helps with their preparation of going,
That's
right,
what I
we know what
think.
we did before.
Yeah.
We just need to go. We need to go again, do our thing, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's my worry, that it actually is for them is a good thing that they've tasted a final in the last couple of weeks. What about Stuart and Kira? What do you think?
That's good.
I agree with Charlie. I think, whether you win the final or lose the final, it were only 3 weeks ago. The players now know what to expect in a final. West Ham are at a disadvantage in that way. It's whether, if he's as good a manager as what everyone's saying about him, he will have learned lessons from it. There's no doubt about it. But it's if we're talking about Inter Milan being a good side, are Inter Milan in the same quality quality as what a Premier League West Ham is? Because if it's different leagues, different countries, different. You know what I'm trying to say? It's if West Ham could play the Premier as a Premier League club, I think that should be strong enough to beat Florentina anyway. Regardless of if they've had a final experience at a final or haven't.
Yeah.
So, but I do think he will have learned from this. That manager, what's his name? Italiano.
Italiano,
yeah. He will have learned something from this. But whether that's enough to outsee a Premier League West Ham, I'm not sure.
What about you, Giza?
Well, I think it can go either way, especially when you've lost recently. In my lifetime, I think I've been in about 6 cup finals and won 5 of them. And the one I remember the most is the one I lost.
Yeah.
I remember to this day, it was in Essex somewhere, in some little stadium, and went to extra time. We lost it in extra time. I'm still gutted. I was gutted for years after it because we were a better team and lost it. And it still plays, you still remember it. Where I can't really remember all the other finals. Maybe one I can because I was brilliant. But no, that's the one that sticks in my mind the most. And I'm hoping that sticks in them players' mind in Fiorentina, how they lost the other cup final and it bothers them.
Yeah.
Or it could be the opposite, where it proved right. If I was a manager with them now, do you know how it felt when we lost the other week in that cup final? Well, do you want to feel like that again?
Mm.
So this is where we change it round, and we're lucky enough to be, have a final very soon after that one to put it right. So it can act as a motivation for them, or it could play on the player's mind the fact they've just lost one. They could go either way.
Freshy says, we might use last year's semi-final as our motivation.
Exactly. You mean how West Ham players felt after that? That's what I'd be doing if Moyes. You know how that felt. You don't want to feel like that again. It's horrible. Horrible losing the final. Or even a semi-final for that matter.
No, and here comes Freshy with the doom and gloom. Do you want to read that out, Charlie?
They've had 4 Spanish refs in the competition so far. We've had none. And they've had this ref before too, when they beat Braga 4-0 February. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. But, what I would say is that they haven't come up against the massive unstoppable force that is West Ham United before. And that is, it's a big game changer. Do you know what I mean? You can have 10, 12 men, even if you want. It doesn't make a difference, mate. I'm telling you. Now, I'm tempting fate. It'll be fine.
Right. 2 things for me. One is, obviously, Italiano, you can't say his name without putting on an accent, he's got to 2 finals in 1 season with Fiorentina. He must have something about him just to get to two finals. That's a big thing. In his first season, it is his first season, isn't it, with them?
Yes. No, he started last season. That's okay. I can't remember how far into it, but he started last season. So
his first full season. Harmony says 3-1. Oh man, what was I going to say? Oh, that's what I was going to say. Like the powers that be. We watch games and we say, they're favouring. Let's say it was Real Madrid v Fiorentina. you know, the big guns would want Real Madrid to win that. Who do you think the powers that be want to win out of the two teams? Because it's not to recognize, you know, like of the you know the big six and all of that. Yeah, who do you think from a footballing point of view and for the prestige of the competition or just UEFA as a whole, who do you think they want to win this game?
I'd say Fiorentina.
I would say West Ham because the Premier League is bigger than I would hope so anyway. But who would so you think they'd want Fiorentina to win?
I do, yeah, I do. It's you know it's Italian and West Ham and you know it's think of it from their point of view, Italy or England. Where would you who would you want? And don't forget he's part Italian, isn't he? Head of UEFA's isn't he part?
Infantino.
Yeah, he's part Italian, isn't he? So he'll want the Italians, won't he?
I think more to the point, they don't particularly want the Premier League dominating Europe, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and every chance Man City win the Champions League, and they probably don't want to see two English clubs winning, 2 out of the 3 competitions. It could be a bit of that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to look at. I don't know how a neutral would look at them two teams and pick one as a favourite.
Yeah.
Would Fiorentina probably be a favourite because they're more well known as the name in Europe? Maybe. And if that's the case, a lot of neutrals like to go with the underdog, don't they? So we might have quite a bit of support if they view Fiorentina as being favourites. I'm not sure.
What do you think, Charlie? Who? The powers that be. Who do you think they would rather win this game?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I'm not sure. I think I apologize, everyone, for what I'm about to say. I think about it in terms of wrestling. And when you get a new wrestling belt and you want to build prestige for that belt, you give the belt to someone who's a big name.
Yeah.
Right? New Japan, they made the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. They put it on Kenny Omega because he's the best. And then everyone goes, oh, look, it means something because Kenny Omega's got it. So
what you're saying, it's fixed, Charlie, this final.
What I'm saying is, if you're trying to build prestige in this competition, who's the more prestigious team to win it? Is it Fiorentina, who have that sort of... I think they probably have a bit more... I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm English, so I'm used to seeing all the English teams, but I think they've got a bit of something about them. Or is the Premier League team winning it better because there's more eyes on it, and then also it would mean that whatever Premier League team happens to be in the competition next year might take it more seriously because for them they think, right, we're going to be able to do it, and then you get more eyes on the product again. So I don't know. It's an interesting question. I think UEFA win either way, but I don't know. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, I suppose you're right there, Charlie. I mean, Roma winning it last year was a bonus for the competition, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. The sort of big name Italian club. So it was a good thing for the competition itself.
Super seriously, he spoke about it being important, all of those sort of things. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and plus having a top manager like Mourinho, taking it seriously and winning it and being delighted with it. So it did help the competition. I just wish they'd thought about maybe taking it seriously, the competition, and giving us a stadium that held 40,000 instead of 20 would have been.
That's the thing, right? Because last year's was in the same, not the same stadium, but a similar size. It was 20,000 as well. I can't remember what stadium it was. It was about the same. And I think, again, if you're looking from a business perspective, you want to build the prestige to the point where they could comfortably book the stadium a year ahead of advance, and it'd be 30,000, it'd be 40,000, and you know that if a big team's going to get there, for example, West Ham versus Fiorentina, if they knew that was going to be the final a year ago, they'd probably have booked a bigger stadium because they know they'd be able to sell more tickets for it. Yeah. But let's say one of the smaller teams happened to go on some sort of magical cup run to get there, then they might not be able to sell out the stadium, right? So again, it's about building that prestige and wanting more of the more neutrals to want to go to the final. Like, you imagine how many neutrals want to go to a Champions League final compared to how many neutrals want to go to a Conference League final. It's night and day, right? So you need that. You need to build it. You need to build it up.
Because they picked it for, I think next year is Dublin.
Is it? I haven't looked into it.
Yeah.
Is that next year?
I think I heard that next year's final will be in Dublin.
And that's will obviously be another small venue. Like, what is Dublin?
I don't
25
know.
max?
They built a new stadium in Dublin, mate, or done the old one up. So it might hold. I'm not sure if it's Windsor Park or the other one.
The Windsor Park is in Belfast.
It might hold a bit more now.
Ain't Windsor Park Belfast?
No, Belfast, Northern Ireland. So
Yeah, I thought Windsor Park.
oh,
was in
Windsor
Northern
Park.
Ireland.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's not Windsor Park. I forget the name of the one in Dublin. I've been there.
Yeah, what is
Is it
the one in
Lansbury or something?
There's the Aviva Stadium
Aviva.
and there's Croc
That's
Park
it.
as well. They're both
Maybe
quite
Aviva.
big though. 51,000 and 69,000 respectively.
There you go. Yeah.
So where is it, Kieran? In Republic? It's one of those ones, you reckon?
Yeah, it's in Dublin. It's meant to. I heard that. I can confirm that. But that's the Conference League final next year, which will be a decent sized stadium, right in the middle of Dublin. A great venue, a bit like Prague.
Yeah.
You'd have a great time there for a weekend. And I'm putting a bet on Aston Villa to win it next season. There you go.
With Emery, the serial European winner.
Yeah.
Also, Windsor Park is in Belfast, by the way.
Musby, I'm a die-hard Liverpool fan. I support West Ham from my heart. Big up. I know I've pronounced your name wrong. I'm saying Muzzy B. That's what I'm calling you.
Muzzy B.
For sure, the West Ham winning would be good optics for UEFA. Played 15, won 14, drawn 1, lost none. Just look at that. That's crazy. And that's the worst thing now. Imagine if that one loss comes in the final. I'd say the Prem should be viewed as a huge negative. As a Premier League team. Europa final is the Aviva. Oh, it is. Sorry, Kieran. It's right here. It's at the Aviva, Dublin.
Oh, is that Europa League then?
Yeah.
As opposed to
that's the Europa, Kieran. It's not the conference.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was the conference. All right.
54. Croke Park is what they changed over in it. Croke Park. That's changed now, isn't it?
Yeah, Croke Park. Yeah.
I think it's still called Croke Park, but they've just they've just redone it.
Oh,
I think it's just been redone.
It's just got a sponsor's name on it now, isn't it?
Wow, I didn't know that. Croke Park holds about 85,000.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
it's
it's
big.
huge.
I didn't know it's
And
that
the
big.
big rugby, the rugby union matches there.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, it is still. Right, we've got a few minutes left.
The Europa League final is the Aviva Stadium in Dublin next year.
So where's the conference?
Cheers,
They
Sally.
haven't announced. They're announcing it this month. They haven't announced yet.
Right, so this one here, I'm not sure if it's really going to matter or not, but obviously it's in the Czech Republic. It's not a big venue, but the Czech fans that might attend, do you think, because of West Ham's Czech contingent, but then they also have Antonin Barak, who's obviously Czech as well. Like, do you think the Czech fans would be supporting West Ham or Fiorentina?
Yeah, it's got to be us, isn't it? We've got two of them. We've got two.
Captain, and we've got the Czech Republic captain in Suchek. Like, yeah,
And they both used to play in that stadium as well.
yeah, for Slavia, yeah.
So yeah, no, we win.
I'm trying to find all the positives.
Yeah, well, it's going to be. You'd think all them clubs would have had a shitload of tickets given to them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of neutral supporters there. So I think they'll be on West Ham side. I don't know if that'll help, but yeah.
We spoke about this Musby, Rice v Amrabat. Interesting. Yeah, it will be. It will be very interesting. And, Abel made a good point. Maybe that's where the game could be won or lost in the middle, as well as, he said the goalkeepers, our goal will be crucial. But, yeah, maybe that's the battle that determines where that trophy's going.
We all just don't want anything to come down to a VAR decision. I just hope we don't have to use it in this final. I hope there's none of that. It goes because don't like VAR at the best of times. I just don't want this final to be decided on it. Even if they're right, I don't want it to be decided on it. Just hope it's there's none of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, before we wrap up, Stuart, and I'm going to ask Charlie as well. What are you doing tomorrow regarding this final on your channel, which is the disabled team? I will put Charlie's and Stuart's channel in the. I don't never do it, but I will put it in the thing after the video. Yeah, what are you doing on the disabled team?
I'm going to do like a from about 10 to 7 to about 4. Just a team news and pre-match chat.
What time is that?
Between 10 to 7 and 7:15. Ready to go, ready to watch your watch on in at 7:30.
Right, so that's on the disabled team tomorrow. Stuart will be bringing the lineups and team news and all of that. And then Charlie over at Hammers Chat, which is the second biggest West Ham fan channel. What are you going to do?
Not for long.
Yeah, not for long. What are you not going to be doing, Charlie? What's your preparation? I know you. Yeah, what time is you lot going live?
I will be going live at 5 minutes to 7,
Yeah.
and then I will be live by myself for what feels
Well,
like 3.5
not
hours. I think
quite.
it's going to end up being by myself.
Not quite by yourself, Charlie. You got matey next year.
Well, yeah, okay. Danny will be here. Danny is
Danny will
currently. I don't actually know where Danny is currently. He's somewhere. I put up a shelf, so I don't know where Danny's gone since then. I had to move him out of the way. Don't know where he is, but yeah, I'll be live 5 to 7. Gio and Gonzo are both at the fan park we've got going on in Stratford, which means I will be by my wand. So 5 to 7, I'll be going live all the way through until full time. I'll then probably run to the toilet and then come back and do the review live straight after that as well.
That's on Hammer's chat.
Yep.
Let me go here. Croke Park is for the hurling Gaelic football. Allowed special dispensation for soccer rugby when Aviva was constructed to replace Lansdowne Road. Yeah. Aviva
That's the
holds
one.
Ireland Soccer and Rugby International. Yeah,
Lansdowne Road. That's the name of it. That was the name of it. Yeah.
And Musby says, sorry, that's not my real name. It's just random name. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't matter that I've mispronounced it.
All right, mate.
Charlie will have 500 baby boys joining him. Right. So before we go, obviously I'm going to thank everybody that took part in the comment section, everybody that took part in the stream. And what I would hope is that we can just sing off West Ham are massive, including Stuart, and hopefully that is the final thing that these West Ham team need to. They see Stuart as a Leeds United fan singing a West Ham song. Are we ready, lads and ladies in the chat?
Oh, right. Where's the music?
West Ham are
massive.
There we go.
West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go.
Timing, you love to see it.
That timing was all over the place. Oh, look.
Yeah, that's not going to help no one, that.
That will. It will confuse Fiorentina. Like, what are they saying?
That bit and put it on their channels for us to Charlie.
Cheers, gents. Nice one, Freshie.
Cheers,
Darren says, morning all, coming your eye. Darren, thanks for tuning in. Obviously, we are just wrapping up. But yeah, much appreciated, everybody. And
well done, Richie.
Hopefully, the next time we...
Can I say something before we go?
Yeah.
Right. Richie's son, Darren's son, Richie, won the FPL. And he's designated it teach. So he's designated a trophy to Peach. So I'm going to get it replacked with Peach on its name.
Wow. You could I've got his address, Stu. You could actually send that to his.
I want to send it to his
mum and dad. Yeah. No, that's a really good thing. Well done, Richie. Yeah. They'll appreciate that. It's a little unfair to ask Stuart to sing. Stuart, he's trying to say he can't sing.
Yeah.
Alan Paris says, that's George Paris. No, joking. Good luck, you Cockney boys. Thank you, Alan. And Gemma Harvey says, come on, you irons, bring it home. Thank you, Gemma. Sorry, you lot. We are actually just wrapping up. But yeah, thanks to everyone that tuned in. And, if you just tuned in and you got 2 hours spare, just watch it back. Hear us talking some shit, whatever. Let's hope referee plays fair game, not many silly mistakes. I agree with that. But yeah, thanks for everybody tuning in. And hopefully next time we sit down, we are just over the moon and West Ham are European champions. Stuart, final words before we end the stream?
Yeah, good luck, West Ham. So I hope you can... you might even score prediction, but I'm going to give mine anyway.
Oh, sorry. You know what? Gemma's just half, actually. Yeah, we'll do that. Sorry. Yeah, score prediction. And you lot in the chat, and then that's how we end it.
And 2-1 West Ham.
I should have asked this, actually. You're saying 2-1, what, in normal time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lot do that. Thanks, Gemma. I completely forgot. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I've been saying 2-1 as well. It's a safe scoreline to say, so I'm going to stick with it. I think Fiorentina will score. I can't see Fiorentina not scoring, but I think we've got what it takes, and so I'm going to say I'm gonna say 2-1. I'm gonna say a hard fought 2-1 victory.
In 90 minutes, yeah?
Yeah.
Geezer.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't go any more than 90 minutes. Can't handle that stress, anxiety. Do you know, I had a bad feeling yesterday we're going to lose 2-0. And so, well, I've got to keep that out of my head. I reckon we have to have the defensive performance of a whole lifetime tomorrow. Try and keep them out. And because they are coming. Let's not make any bones about this. And like young Abel said, Areola, I presume he's in goal, he's going to have to be on his game. And he's going to have some shots to save. And he's got to save them. No silly mistakes. And we hold them out, and then we nick it 1-0. That's what's got to happen.
Jeez, that's painful. Right. I don't know what I really believe, but I'm gonna go with Harmony's 3-1, and I'm gonna just I'm gonna try and put it out there that they come attacking, we score early. Now they come even more attacking, and 3-1. Do I really believe that? I don't know, but Harmony's put it. I'm gonna try and stay positive because Kieran's theory is more realistic, and it's just so painful. So I don't want to endure that. So yeah, I'm gonna go West Ham 3, Fiorentina 1, West Ham 3. I don't know if I believe it, but yeah, Hammers to win by 12 clear goals, says Bandy. Come off my screen, man, move. And Musby says West Ham 2, Fiorentina 1, comeback after going 1-0 down.
Very nice. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take it. We'll take any win.
Charlie, final thoughts before we wrap up.
First of all, subscribe to Hammers Fans United if you haven't already. It's a little button underneath. Hit that like button. Titch puts in a lot of work. My man puts in shorts. The shorts game effort is strong from Titch. and subscribe to the Save Team as well while you're there. While you're at it. Do you know what I mean? Another man who puts in a shift. Good videos all the time, keeping me up to date with not only Leeds but also generic Premier League stuff. So I'd say strongly subscribe to both channels. And outside of that, just enjoy it. Whatever happens tomorrow. From a West Ham perspective, you have to enjoy these moments, live for them, because they don't come around often as West Ham fans. And I know, obviously, we're going to get swept up in the moment. And if we win, then we don't really have to talk about it at all. But just savor it, absorb it all, and enjoy it. Because, listen, I'm just saying, Dublin next year, easy little trip across the border, little plane, little easy jet flight, less than an hour, easy talk. But if that doesn't happen, these sort of things don't come around. So just enjoy it, whatever happens. And yeah, big Dubs incoming. Come on, you Irons. Let's go.
C Dubs wants to go to Dubs.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Like Charlie said, enjoy it, mate. There's a long time in between drinks, isn't it, when it comes to finals? So let's enjoy this one, right? And whatever happens. So if it goes wrong, don't be too down on it. It's a good achievement to get to a final. Every chance we can win it. Every final's up for grabs. I don't care who's playing against who. Every final's up for grabs. So there's no reason why we can't win it. And we're going to have a lot of happy supporters there, mate. Yeah. And a lot of happy bar owners in Prague. So let's hope we get there, we do a job and come away happy. And then we can class Moyes as a legend.
All right. So see you all soon. I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow, starting at 7:30. So yeah, if you're free, come and tune in and support the team. But yeah, that's it, man. We will see you all very soon, and that is ciao from me.
Take care, everybody.
See you later.
See you later. All the best.